Hi, I'm Big Mike. In this video, I'm going to cover the items that sold for profit for me on eBay in the previous week. Alright, so here was the first item that sold in this week. It was a PFG Columbia fishing shirt. I used fishing and vented as some of my keywords. Problem with this one, I initially had it listed at $14.39. I didn't realize at the time this is the reason why I don't do free shipping. I was at a family gathering. I wasn't really paying attention. Person made an offer of $9.99. I was thinking, okay, that was including shipping. Went ahead and took the offer. Thankfully, the shirt weighed in such a way that I was able to still make a little bit of money off of it, but it was not worth my time on this one. But all in all, like I said, it was a $9.99. I think I made about $5 total on it. This was Nike's Dry Fit gym shorts. I bought this several months ago at the Goodwill bins, so probably paid about $1.50 on it, and got $9.99 straight on the button for it. Had several lowball offers before this one came through. Like I said, sat on this one for a little while. That one came with shipping. This next item is Allegra's Window Nick Jr. VHS, sold straight up with shipping for $14.99. Yes, sometimes VHSs do sell. You have to have a good eye. You have to know what you're looking for. A lot of classic Nick Jr. stuff can sell pretty good. You just have to be careful. Like the old school Blues Clues with Steve, a lot of that does well. Had a really good run with Thomas the Tank Engine. So a lot of the children's stuff sells really well, but you just have to be careful as you're not picking up stuff that's like kind of overblown in the market. Once again, check your comps. This one was a pretty rare one. Sold for $15. I maybe paid 50 cents for it. So pretty good altogether. This one was a tough hit. It was a stamp. I bought a bunch of stamps. They were like $2.50 at a thrift store. This was one of them. I had it listed at $14.99. Sold it for $10, which would have been a decent profit. It would have more than paid for the stamps. The problem is it got delivered to the wrong address. And so I'm kind of went ahead and you do the right thing. You go ahead and you refund the money in that instance and make your customer happy. I could definitely tell through the shipping that they delivered it to the wrong place. This next one was one that I picked up. I think it was for 50 cents at a thrift store. Brennan's, New Orleans, is a famous restaurant in New Orleans. Decided to throw it up there. Didn't really see any comps on it. Threw up $14.99. Maybe I could have asked for more. I don't know. But it sold for $14.99. 50 cents into $14.99. I'll take that all day, every day. This next one I actually got out of a free lot of clothes. Somebody was just come pick up all the stuff out in my front yard. And it was somebody that used to go out and buy out yard sales. I guess she didn't really want to bother looking through the clothes. It was a vintage silver tab baggy jeans. Baggy jeans are kind of in. I did sit on this one for a while because I really didn't know how to price it. I priced it really high and slowly came down to $55.99. Somebody threw me an offer of $35. I was feeling generous that day. Free into $35. Hey, that's profit, right? Next up, this one was actually something my wife found. We were at Salvation Army, a carousel slide projector. They wanted $20 for it. Looked up the comps really quick because I usually don't look at projectors, but my wife's like, just check it out really quick. And I saw that there was comps upwards of $125 on it. I tested it out. I like to post videos of me testing, and also the projector was just in fantastic condition. You could tell it was really well kept. I shot for the sky, hit $135 on the sale. Somebody initially, like within a day, offered $100. Decided to sit on it a little bit longer. About the end of the week, somebody offered $110. I went ahead and bid on the $110 offer. So pretty good, $20 into $110. These were at a thrift store. I think I paid $3 for them. So it wasn't a huge turnaround for me. I listed them at $14.99. Somebody offered me $11. I took it. This one came in a package, and this is one of the first ones that sold. I bought a big old box of radio control car batteries. They were at a thrift store. The guy asked for $10 for it. I quickly said yes. I didn't even look at comps on it, but I just know that remote control cars have a huge market, and these things have been slowly getting picked over. This one sold at full price for $9.99. I've got a bunch of other batteries and chargers that came in that lot, have been slowly selling. I think I'm somewhere around over $200 in sales on that box as it is right now, and I still got a bunch more to go. So that was a really good buy on my part. This came in a big old box of junk in a yard sale. I just said, hey, it was a bunch of wires, chargers, things like that, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take a risk on it. They asked for $5. I've more than made my money back on that tote of stuff. I'm not sure if I really want to dig through all that stuff anymore, but this one I sat on for a while. It was a terrible picture, as you can see. This is when I kind of first was starting out. That could be part of the reason why I sat up for a while, but it did eventually sell for full price. This one was another one of those LL Bean jeans. Person made an offer of $10. I sold it to that other guy for $11. I countered at 11. They took it for 11. This was a game that I picked up at a yard sale, and I think it would turn out to be the last yard sale I've been at this year. Just not a whole lot going on with it. This one I paid $3 for. Not a whole lot of comp listings, but I just knew it was a vintage board game. Some of them were selling for $35, $40. I checked really quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of game pieces, but they were all complete. Be careful with games, because a lot of times they're missing pieces and parts. Games are kind of a tricky territory, but I figured I could get my money's worth out of it. By the way, my daughter and I, we played this game. It is a terrible game. It makes Chutes and Ladders look like a blast. I mean, it was rough, and I did a little write-up on it. I sat on it for a long time. Somebody offered $17. I was like, hey, let's just go ahead and get rid of it. I'm cool with that. Vintage Guess jeans. These sold pretty much overnight. I did take an offer on it. These are the Georges Marciano, if that's how you pronounce it. I picked them up for $5. I think I sold them at $17. I'm not really 100% positive on that, but Levi's 505s. Bought these at the bins, so probably paid about $2 for it. Sold for about $14. Like I said, clothes, you tend to sit on them for a while. These I sat on for a while. This was a bad buy that I made. I bought a big old lot of these Carhartt FR flame resistant pants. There's not a whole lot of them on eBay. It wasn't so much the buy itself was bad. They're probably sellable. Problem is that there was a lot of flaws with them, and I got a little overexcited and overzealous. So I probably bought 7 or 8 of them at $5 a piece. This one sold for $15. I'll be lucky to get my money back on all those. I might end up having to clearance those out. These were also a bins pickup, so probably paid about $1.50 for them. Sold for full price for $11.99. Once again, sat on them for a little while. This one I sat on for a long while, but I hadn't listed it. So I actually listed it about a week before it sold. This was also in that box of just electronics and stuff like that. This one sold at $7, so not $7.99. I took the offer on that one pretty quickly. This is a Black & Decker Gizmo hand mixer charger with 2 attachments. This one I sat on for a while. I don't know exactly why, because they do have a pretty good sell-through, so it must have been something in my listing. I know it was missing a part. I did leave that in there, but there were also some with missing parts that would sell. I listed it at $39.99. This was free shipping. Somebody offered $35 on it. I'm like, hey, I paid $3 for it, so it wasn't too bad. That was a yard sale find. All right, here's a reamer for a juicer. This is from a vintage juicer. Found this at a thrift store. It was priced at $8. I was like, if it doesn't work, I'm kind of just, there's no return policy there. But I did look it up, and they were also parting these things out for fairly decent money. So I'm like, okay, so if it doesn't work, I can sell the parts. I paid $8 for it, and lo and behold, the machine did not work properly. So this was one of the parts that came with it. I paid $8. Like I said, here's $25. I've got another part that's listed for $20-$25, but whatever happens with that is kind of just a bonus, or in Louisiana we call that lagniappe. All right, this is part of that RC car buy. These are pretty rare batteries from what I've found. They're pretty hard to find on eBay. So I listed them, what some of them have previously sold at, which was $29.99. Notice that I put here untested. I couldn't find the RC cars. I found them later on at the same thrift store. Kind of glad I didn't buy them, because I would have sat on those for a while, just because they would be hard to ship. They're really, really big, but I just had no way to test them. Always mention that it's untested if you're going to list something that you haven't tested. And I am always willing to offer free returns on things that I can't test, because, I mean, would you like to get this item at $29.99, get it at your place, and it not work? So I do offer free returns on those sort of things. So once again, that was a $10 box. As you've seen just in this run through, I sold one of those items for $9.99, sold this one for $29.99. I'm just well into profit just on this 1 week on that box. So, but a bunch of that is sold. This was also in that free lot of clothes. Most of those clothes I ended up using in a yard sale later on. I sold through a few of them, but I picked out some of the vintage things. And these silver tabs were right up in there. These silver tab shorts, I sat on them for a little while. Had them listed at $24.99. Had a guy that made an offer initially at $14. In hindsight, this was, like I said, when I was kind of young in this. Like I said, I've only been doing this about 5 months, so I guess I'm still very young at this. I didn't realize I had the shipping set like at a ridiculous amount on this one. So I was wondering why I was getting all these lowball offers. And in clothing, you'll still get a lot of lowball offers, but I couldn't figure out for the life of me why nobody wanted to pay close to my $24.99. Finally managed to talk that person up to $17. We sold at $17 on it. And then that's when I went and weighed it out and realized that, man, I really went crazy on the shipping on that. So I did do a partial refund on the shipping, the part that the buyer overpaid on, just as an act of goodwill. I like to do that. If it's like $3 or $4 where they've overpaid, hey, giving them their money back. You shouldn't ever charge people extra for shipping. And I've even mentioned that in my previous video. I will include shipping on most of my listings. The reason for that is I want the buyer to understand when we're negotiating. I want to negotiate the price. I don't want to really have to negotiate the shipping. And I actually do pass on my eBay savings on shipping to the buyer. So that way, some sellers choose to keep the full shipping price. I find that I sell through a little bit better when I pass on my eBay savings to the buyer. This was a really strong week of sales for me. Don't expect next week's going to be that great. It's already off to a really stinky start. So next week's video may be a lot shorter. All that said, I love you very much. Thank you for watching. If you saw anything in here that was cool or anything that you want to comment on, please leave a comment down below. I'm still new at this, been doing it 5 months. Kind of enjoying it, but sometimes I get tired and get weary doing it too because it's a lot of work. But if you have any comments, any questions, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Love you guys very much. And laissez le bon temps roulé.